I never got the chance to really know my mother. She was often too busy selling my stereos for enough money to get a dime bag of silence, or pawning my television so she could buy another hit of hope. She was always off trading my bicycles for one last bump of freedom, or searching for my loose change so she could find one moment of peace in just another toke. My mother is not dead, but she's not exactly living either. She's a scared little girl lost in a stranger's attic, a spark of life trapped in a mass grave of unknown souls. When I was growing up, she could never hear my panicked screams as I drowned in her mental illness, my cries lost in the frenzy of endless voices within her mind as she struggled to find something to keep her afloat in her ocean of madness. We were two little kids, standing on opposite beaches, both screaming for someone to come help us, to save us from the monsters hiding in the darkness. I can remember hating her, cursing life for forcing me to live with this. Televisions unplugged at night so the FBI couldn't watch us as we slept. A revolving door of foster homes swinging as fast as she could run in and out of hospitals and crack houses. I'll give you $50 if you don't call anyone and tell them where we are. Let me borrow that 50 and I'll pay you back tomorrow. Mom, I'm only 10 years old and I'm so tired. Mom, we've been walking for hours and I'm cold. Hello? I need you to come pick me up. I don't know where I am, but it's a stranger's house and I haven't seen my mom in hours. Please, come pick me up and get me out of here. The two biggest lessons that I learned from her back then were how to keep your mouth shut and that you should always remember someone's telephone number offhand. But a child's memory is not a reliable source of information because whereas I looked up and saw the face of my mother twisted and contorted with rage, vacant blackness in her eyes as she pulled me inside and threw another blow, she looked at me and saw a stranger, a random person who had been standing in the shadows when she looked outside of her window. At that instant, I was not her son. I was just some guy that she didn't know. Years later, when I was a 20-something-year-old boy and she once again stopped taking her medications, I actually met my mother for the first time. As I stood outside of her hospital room door with tears in my eyes, I looked at her and said, "I'll come visit you tomorrow." She cocked her head to the side, as if listening to something that no one else could hear, and responded with, "Do you promise?" At that instant, I caught a glimpse of my mother, a scared little girl with no concept of the world around her. But before I got the chance to answer, her expression changed and she said, "We cannot trust him. He won't come back." "Yes, he will. I promise. He's a good man." And so, as I turned and walked away from these strangers who had raised me, I couldn't help but to think about the lost children inside of us both. The scared little boy crying out for his mommy, and the little girl who we'd never know.